Another week of the Diddy trial has commenced today in explosive fashion. Hello, my fam. It is Perez, the queen of all media, the original influencer, and your number one source for everything Diddy drama. After a much-needed holiday break, we were back in the federal courtroom where the disgraced music mogul is facing charges of trafficking, racketeering, and several more witnesses took the stand today. Let's get to it. Today marks the 10th day of testimony, and in a little conferral between the defense and prosecution and the judge, it was announced that we are on target to wrap things up by around 4th of July. So that means another entire month of all of this. Up first was Capricorn Clark, Diddy's longtime former assistant. She worked for him from 2004 until 2018, and she also worked for Cassie as her creative director. Straight out the gate, Clark began her testimony by revealing that Diddy once threatened to off her. Why? Because of her past connection to Suge Knight. Diddy was apparently furious that Clark did not disclose her former employment with Suge, whom he infamously hates. Clark said that Diddy and a bodyguard known as Uncle Polly brought her to a spot in Central Park to send her a menacing message close to the time she started working for Combs in 2004. Combs, quote, told me he didn't know that I had anything to do with Suge Knight, and if anything happened, he would have to KIL me. Whoa. Clark is one of a number of witnesses being called to testify to support the prosecution's theory that Diddy and members of his inner circle regularly threatened and abused people, including his love interests and staff. Capricorn told the jury that after college, she got a job working at Death Row Records, Suge Knight's label. She said that Suge was her manager and described him as the father of my best friend's children. Capricorn had every reason to believe that Diddy could follow through on his threats. Clark testified about an incident where she observed him with a pew-pew. She claimed once at MTV, the disgraced music mogul was doing press. Afterwards, Capricorn claimed she and Diddy got into an elevator. There was some alleged issue with him and 50 Cent at the time. She observed him with the pew-pew. Capricorn recalls Diddy explaining he didn't like issues. I like guns. She told the jury Diddy was serious when he said this. Capricorn testified that she was once accused of stealing 3 pieces of jewelry while working as Diddy's assistant. Uncle Polly searched her house but didn't find anything. The next day, he took her to a building in Manhattan that would soon become the corporate offices for Bad Boy Worldwide, his company, but at the time, Clark said it was dilapidated, unfinished, and a gutted building. Clark testified that she was brought there to take a lie detector test, and that this man, who was very scary, told her, if you fail this test, they're gonna throw you in the East River. Another threat to off her. I was petrified, she told the jury today. I was afraid what would happen if I didn't pass this test. Clark's voice cracked during her testimony and she cried while recalling the incident. Clark said she spent the whole day intermittently taking the test, but the results were inconclusive. Quote, you're going to be in the East River if I can't get a good reading on this, Clark recalled the man saying. His former assistant said that she couldn't calm down, understandable, and the door to the room was locked from the outside. For 5 days, she was tested about the incident. At the end of each day, the security guard took her home before bringing her back to the building in the morning. She was told she couldn't leave until we get to the bottom of this. I was just trying to survive it, Clark told the court. I'm not victim blaming at all. I just would not have stayed at that job. I would have quit so fast. Last week, we heard from another one of Diddy's former assistants, George Kaplan, who also told the jury that on multiple occasions, he too had to take lie detector tests. And here's perhaps the craziest part. She says that she would regularly work from 7 a.m. to 4 a.m. on a salary of $55,000. That's it. Clark told the jury that she barely slept and even suffered hair loss as a result of the stress. Combs' mother, Janice, was back in court today to hear all of this wonderful testimony. Diddy was often violent with his staffers, Capricorn Clark testified, noting that he fought with men and women who worked for him. She recalled Diddy throwing phones at male security staff and a barber when he was upset. He also once got violent with her in the summer of 2006, she alleged, while she was staying with him in his Miami mansion on Star Island. The violence against her, Clark said, was preceded by an incident during which Combs got upset with her for taking too long getting back after running an errand. See, your problem is you want a life, and you can't have that here, Clark said Diddy told her upon her return. The next day, she complained to Diddy's personal chef that she hates it here after being told there was no turkey bacon. Annoyed, the chef stepped outside of the kitchen to relay Clark's comments to Diddy, who was standing on the back deck of his home. He charged me, Clark said. She described Combs running toward her, then pushing her back forcefully on her shoulders. If you hate it here, get the F out of my house, Clark said in a shaky voice as she recalled what Combs told her during the incident. She did leave Bad Boy shortly after that. That was crossing my boundary, Clark said. And then eventually, she went back. Capricorn also recalled an incident that happened with Lauren London. She's an actress, used to date Lil Wayne, and had a child with Nipsey Hussle. Clark said that once Diddy explained to her and London why they didn't have a man. He said, "Let me show you something." He called Cassie over and he asked her to sit down, stand up, turn around, turn the other way, walk over there, grab that, hand me that, walk back, turn around, go back into the other room. When Cassie left the room, Diddy said, "Did you see that? You bees, B-I-T-C-H-E-S, won't do that. That's why you don't have a man." Eventually, her pay was upped to $65,000 a year, but she testified she would get no breaks. At one point, she went to complain to HR to discuss overtime that she was owed $85,000. A lot of overtime. His former assistant says that Diddy ripped up the paper and Capricorn was not paid. And she's got a lot more to say. I will share all of that and the rest of today's testimony with you coming up in another video. But until then, let's discuss everything that we have learned in the comment section.